That is not correct. In 2015, when we came on board, the governor was the first in the Northwest to call for collaboration with neighboring states. At that time, what was the major problem across the Northwest was cattle rustling. And the states came together. And there were simultaneous operations across the state against the cattle rustlers. And indeed, we made progress. But furthermore, much of the work, was slowed. And at the end of the day, we begin to have these symptoms of kidnapping and the intense bandit attacks that we witness from that point. So to come on board to say that government of Kaduna State in the beginning did not pay attention to this issue is not correct. Most of these people who are making these allegations are making these allegations, with political undertones, which we know. Because the problems in Zamfara, the problems in Niger, the problems in Sokoto, Kebbi, and other parts of the country, are they saying that the problems there are different from what we have in Kaduna? If there is a bandit attack in Zamfara State, the media and people that are making commentaries, most of them will say, they will refer to it as bandit attacks. But if there is such attack in Kaduna Central and even some parts of central Nigeria, they give it religious or ethnic coloration. So these are some of the problems. And I have argued here to you that from the very moment one is making commentaries on security issues with prejudice, biases, and a lot of emotions and sentiment, you will not get it right. But if you want to make comments, if you want to discuss issue of security, you have to look at the issue without being emotional. You have to look at the issue without politicizing the issue. The problems of security in Kaduna State, like I told you, and I still insist, is not a problem of the negligence of government. We all know where we are coming from. This is a country with over 200 million people with less than 500,000 policemen. Birnin is over 6,000 square kilometers, twice bigger than Lagos. If you look at countries like America, that has in America, there are over 300 million people, but they have active 1.4 military strength. And you have millions of policemen, because apart from the federal police, there is the state police, there is also county police, and there are even private police. So the issues that are happening in Kaduna State cannot be looked into without making reference to our present reality. But I want you to know that we are not living in denial. We are not saying that we don't have a problem. But what are we doing? Are we not doing something? We are doing something. Okay. I have just explained to you. I have reeled out to you different operations, different deployments of federal security agencies that are working across the state. And it may also, it may also interest you to know that Kaduna State is the first state in the Federation to set up a ministry dedicated to security. About 7 or 8 states had followed suit. The primary focus of the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs is to liaise with federal security agencies, is to coordinate internal security, is to also coordinate intelligence gathering. And this is what we are doing. So whatever you are doing in Nigeria, people will accuse you of not doing your best. But the most important thing is for you to continue to do your best. But I want you to know that the silent majority who are following the event in Kaduna are in the picture, and they know that government of Kaduna State and federal security agencies are doing their best. And we will not be deterred by biases and prejudice and emotional commentaries. We will press forward, we will double what we are doing, we will scale up, and there is no going back. We are conscious of the responsibility that is hanging on our shoulders, and we will not relent. And we also feel that the media is, some section of the media is also doing some harm instead of good, as far as this issue of security is concerned. And I'll explain much later if time permits.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Samuel Arunwa is the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs. And we'll take a break now, Commissioner. And when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Do stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. And our guest is Samuel Arunwa. He's the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs. And we're grateful to him for this conversation. He's made himself available to for this conversation. Now, he explained, and one can understand as a government official, that he's not very keen to respond or engage with individuals or groups. Instead, he'd rather say what government has been doing and is doing and will continue to do. But it still is a very serious affair. According to reports, the group, one of the groups that you said you are loath to really comment about, Ansaru al-Muslimina fi Bilad al-Sudan, also known as Ansaru, reportedly have promulgated something, I don't know, since they're not a proper organ, but they've made a promulgation banning citizens from participating in the 2023 elections. Now, Kaduna elders reportedly have actually advised the president that this is a serious threat to the sovereignty of the country, showing how seriously their eminences take this matter. And as you said, they are also part of a government committee to monitor and see what can be done about this matter, which you said is a continuing and an ongoing process. But this whole matter, when you look at it, they actually are saying that certain citizens of Nigeria will not, under peril of, reprisals, participate in the election. Your comments, please.
Well, first and foremost, if you look at the 2020 and 2021 security reports of Kaduna State, we actually talk about the intersection between the armed bandits and Boko Haram alongside with Ansaru. We said that in our 2020 and 2021 reports. And we also reported some of this development and our projections to the federal government and federal security forces that are carrying out internal security operations in the states. So it's not something that we are just knowing. Most of these issues, government is aware of them, and we table most of these issues before the appropriate authorities. It is not something that I would have to say more about it here, but to the best of my knowledge and what I want you to know is the federal security forces are not taking it for granted, these issues that we have been reporting to them. They are doing their best. we are conscious of the issue of stopping citizens from exercising their civic responsibilities and other obligations of theirs. We are conscious of that, and the federal security forces have been briefed, like I said, and they are working on it. The centers of gravity have been identified across the general area, and I will not want to go beyond what I have said here. And I also want to further clarify to you, there are many sociocultural organizations or associations, unions or forums across Kaduna State. So if Kaduna State will continue to respond or engage groups who have no footprint on the exact security situation of the state, we will lose focus. And we don't want to lose focus. So we are conscious of what is happening. As I sat here in your studio before the commencement of this event, I have received multiple reports of what is happening right now. So government is not living in isolation. And the footprint that government and security forces have goes beyond the reach of individuals or groups. This is what I want you to know. If that is your own standard of assessing the situation or the reality of what is happening in the state, well, I will not contest that. We are in democracy. But what I want you to know, that the security problems that we are facing in Kaduna State, like I said, is not a problem that is applicable to Kaduna State alone. If other states will come up with their own statistics, if other states will give you an idea into what is happening, you will realize that what is happening in Kaduna State is even a child's play. But what we are seeing is this. Security issues are issues that must be handled with sensitivity. They are issues that must not be handled with emotions, prejudice, and politics. They are issues that we must look at it. If you look at the impact of this banditry and terrorism, it has cost us so much. You look at the threat to education and learning. You know, most of the schools that are located in hard-to-reach areas could not really operate or function. You also have to look at the consequences on health sector, because most of health facilities that are located in these locations cannot be able to function, and that people who have one problem or the other, who may want to access the primary health care facilities that domicile in these locations, find it very difficult. You also have to look at the food security, because majority of rural dwellers, they are farmers. So the implication on food security is also there. You also look at the rural economy, because what holds the rural economy is the fact that communities that live within the hard-to-reach areas congregate through the mobile weekly market. You know, that is rural economy. Now, with these problems, the rural economy is gradually collapsing. You also look at the social cohesion, because it is a threat to social cohesion. So now, when you look at the negative consequences of banditry, you will realize that what is important is for us to look at things beyond the prism of sentiment, beyond the issue of religion, beyond the issue of ethnicity, beyond issue of politics. What is important is the fact that what do we do? How do we get actionable intelligence? How do we get information that will help us, you know, to have an edge over most of these criminals that are operating across the state? You know, these are some of the issues. But by the time we begin to dwell so much on the issue of religion, on the issue of ethnicity, you know, it doesn't help the situation. The bullet of these outlaws chooses no one. Everyone is a victim of this problem. So the some section of the media, you know, they are complicating this issue when they begin to stereotype, when they begin to come with content
I beg your pardon.
that
Samuel,
talks